All right, we're live. What's up, you degenerates? Welcome to the debut episode of Triple Play Fantasies Pick'em, sponsored by Monkey Knife Fight. I am with my co-host, Eric. All right, can you hear me there?
Are you stumbling there, Brad? You want me
Did
to
I
pick
break
you
up?
No, we're live. We're live. You degenerates.
All right, we're live, baby. You degenerates, all that. So, Eric, I'm with my co-host, Eric. He's the member of Triple Play Basketball Podcast, Football Podcast, and the Baseball Podcast. Eric, how you doing?
I'm doing well. Excited to do this new podcast with you and excited to have you host.
Is it a podcast? I think we're just keeping it like this.
All right. Well, hey, you're the host. You call whatever you want.
Fair enough. We're also joined by special guests. We welcome in Sean Green. Sean Green is co-host of the Sports Gambling Podcast. When he isn't giving out his free NFL picks, he works as a stand-up comedian, writer, and producer. He's the co-founder of the Sports Gambling Podcast Network, which can be heard on SiriusXM, and just put out a stand-up comedy album, The Loss Hurts Us All. What's going on, Sean? Did I miss anything?
No, you got it. Thanks for getting all those plugs in. Appreciate it. And looking forward to talking shop here, doing a little pick'em, and thanks for having me on, guys.
How's SGP doing? I see the hat.
Oh yeah, SGP is through the roof. I mean, again, not to we're not afraid to tout because we're not touts. We don't sell our picks. We make them, everything we put out, picks wise, contest wise, completely free. But yeah, I'm coming off an awesome Saturday. We gave out Medina Spirit, the horse that won the Kentucky Derby.
Oh wow!
On our horse racing podcast.
Oh, wow.
We were a part of this futures draft on SiriusXM, and all the way back in February 23rd, I think it was, we threw out Medina Spirit as the horse to take. So pretty stoked about that. Nice win.
Nice. Very nice. Very nice. All right.
Another thing to add to your resume.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, man. Word on the street is you were part of Guy Code and Ridiculousness. Is that true?
Yes. I was a writer on the Guy Code website for a long time, and that actually led to me being a writer on Ridiculousness for a long time. Geez, probably about 8 seasons. I was the head writer for 4 seasons, and then eventually the SGPN, our kind of podcast network, took off and just left the show to focus on that.
So you're basically part of the reason why MTV used to play videos and now it's just Ridiculousness 24/7.
Yeah, exactly. So if you're mad that you can't you can't get your favorite Drake video on TV anymore, but I mean, in MTV's defense, if they played music videos, would anyone watch? I don't think so. Who knows? But big part of what, if you look at their programming schedule, it's just all Ridiculousness back to back to back.
Perfect. All right. So first and foremost, we're trying to get you paid. So hopefully you can get us paid too. Make sure to go to monkeyknifefight.com, use promo code Triple Play, deposit and play. Since we're sponsored by Monkey Knife Fight, all of our picks will be based on their lines and available games. And it's only a $5 minimum deposit, so you don't need to go crazy yet. All right. So let's get to our first 3 games of the night. They're all going to be from the Blazers versus Celtics, because it looks like that's what's going to be the most competitive game of the night. The first game is a more or less game with Dame Lillard and Jason Tatum. If we get both correctly, we triple our buy-in. So, does Jason Tatum get more or less than 27.5 points? And does Dame Lillard get more or less than 26.5 points? I'll go to you first, Eric.
So I think a lot of it depends on Jalen Brown's availability. He's questionable with a right ankle sprain. Assuming he does play, I actually like the under for or less than 27.5 for Jason Tatum. He's been alternating good and bad games. He's had 2 good games in a row. He's shooting about 20 shots a game over the last 6 games. So you like the volume, but I do think Portland is going to focus in on him more, especially after a 60-point performance. Stick Robert Covington on him, who's a great defender. 27.5 is a lot, so I like less.
How about you, Sean?
Yeah, I'm with you there. I think anytime you have an outlier performance like that 60-point game you're talking about, generally they're going to do everything they can to combat that. You're not going to let the guy go for 60 again, and certainly he won't go for 60, but I like the under here too. I think that's a good angle. I think they're going to, and again, shooting scoring in general, they kind of work their way back to the average. So if you have an outlier like 60 points, he's bound to come back to the average, which means a low-scoring game makes sense here for Tatum.
That's interesting. I'm actually taking the over for Tatum. So I think we're talking about one of the purest scorers in the game. He's got a very Kobe-like smoothness, very fluid, and he can get going in a hurry. Portland is also second to last in defensive rating in the league, so I don't think there's a lot that they can do to actually stop him. The man's coming off dropping 60, and he averages 26.5 per game. So to me, I don't think it's even him coming back down to earth is right at that line. So to me, I don't think it's crazy to see him hit the over there. I'd feel comfortable betting the over. Where are we on?
Brad, you're outnumbered on this one. Sorry, so yeah. He's going less.
I mean, you're making a decent point on Portland's defense there, but I'm still staying under.
All right. Where are we on Dame?
His is 26.5, right?
That's right.
Yep.
I like more. So the last 6 games ever since he returned from that groin injury, he's averaging 25 points per game. He's shooting the ball about 21 times per game. And he's shooting 39.8% from the field, which is actually less than his 43.5% for the season. So Portland right now is the 7th seed, which meaning they're in that play-in tournament. They're 1 game behind the Lakers. And I think Portland is their best when Dame is shooting the ball. So I see another high-volume game for him.
Sean?
Yeah, I'm with you here as well.
Yes.
26.5 feels a little low. Again, it's a Sunday night game here we're talking about. I think – and Dame especially seems like a guy who plays up to the competition. I think there's going to be a lot of eyes on this game, relatively big game, and he's going to go out of his way. And again, Boston hasn't had amazing defense this season as well. A little less physical than previous teams. So, yeah, I like Dame Lillard over here.
Once again, I'm outnumbered, man. I'm taking the under on Dame. It's a little bit riskier. He averages 28.3 on the season, but a lot of that has come before CJ McCollum got healthy again. So his last 3 games, he's had 23, 23, and 32 points.
So
Boston
he's right there.
He's right there. But Boston has the 15th ranked defense in the league. And while that's not scaring anybody, I think both teams are in the bottom third of the league in pace. So we're not going to get some up and down track meet. So the fact that there are multiple players on Portland who can give you buckets like Nurkic, Cantor, CJ, it's not like Tatum where he's the primary guy, him and Brown, to get buckets. So I don't think it's crazy to take the under here, even though I'm outnumbered.
I guess we'll just have to agree on everything.
Yeah. All right. Next up is the rapid fire game on MKF. Who gets more points, Dame or Tatum? Who gets more boards, Nurkic or Williams? And who gets more 3 points made, Brown or McCollum? If we get all 3 correctly, we 4X our buy-in. So, Eric, I'll go to you first.
I want to go to Sean for this one and see if I agree with him.
Yeah, so let me I'm just pulling it up here again. Well, so, yeah, obviously, if I'm on the under for Tatum and the over for Lillard, I got to say Lillard's going to have more. And then what was the
more rebounds, Nurkic or Robert Williams, and then more threes, Brown or McCollum.
Well, I'm going CJ McCollum. I'm originally from Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, and CJ McCollum, high legend. I'm never going to fade CJ McCollum, so I'm definitely taking him there. And for the rebounds, I'll go Nurkic here. Again, I think it's always hard to predict the rebounding totals, but I think Nurkic is in kind of a better spot. I think he could have more minutes played as well. So yeah, I'll go Nurkic here.
Eric, where you at?
So we're gonna have a disagreement. Obviously, I think we both like Dame over Tatum, just based kind of what we said prior. I'm going Jalen Brown for the 3-pointers made. The last 3 games, he's shot 36 3-point attempts to CJ McCollum's 13. So to me, that kind of speaks of the volume. And especially if he does play with that ankle sprain, I could see him being a little more stationary and shooting rather than being aggressive and taking it to the hole. And for me, I'm taking Nurkic. Robert Williams has 9 rebounds in both games. So he's coming back playing 17 and 23 minutes. He's still on a minutes restriction. Nurkic has at least 9 rebounds in his last 5 games with a high of 19. So I think, once again, that ceiling is going to be higher.
Yeah, so we already went over our rationale for Dame versus Tatum. I'm taking Tatum there. I think Nurkic versus Williams is kind of easy. It's Nurkic to me, and it's really not close. He averages 8.5 and has had 10, 9, and 11 rebounds in the last 3 games. Robert Williams averages 7 boards and plays much fewer minutes. I'm also feeling really confident about Brown hitting more threes. Brown's really made a jump this year. In his last 3 games, he's 4 of 11, 7 of 13, and 4 of 12 from 3. He's just taken a lot of threes, and opportunity is the name of the game for Pick'em. And CJ has taken 13 threes total in his past 3 games combined. So I just really think their roles are different right now, which is why I like Brown there. So let's get to our final game of the night. It's for the folks who want the biggest return. If we pick all 3 correctly, it's a 5x return, and it's another more or less game. So we have, does CJ get more or less than 22.5 points? Does Robert Williams get more or less than 8.5 rebounds? Does Marcus Smart get more or less than 5.5 assists? So I'll start with you, Eric.
So for me, I'm going CJ more than 22.5 points. The game total for this is 232. That's the second highest of the day for the Bucks and Nets. So you figure there's going to be a lot of scoring there, and it's with CJ and Dame. I could see them both having 25 easily. I'm going under 8.5 for the Robert Williams rebounds. Once again, he's on a minutes restriction. I know he's had 9 in his last couple games, but with the Spurs, Jakob Poeltl is 7 foot. He's the only tall guy on that roster. And the Hornets had Cody Zeller, who's 6'11". PJ Washington, who played the majority of that game, is 6'7". The Blazers have Nurkic and Kanter, who are both 6'11". And Robert Williams is 6'8". So I think battling with true centers, he's going to have less rebounds once again on a minutes restriction. And I'm going Marcus Smart, more than 5.5 assists. He's the primary ball handler. Kemba Walker is out this game. So I think he'll have the ball in his hands a lot more than if Kemba was playing.
Where you at, Sean?
Yeah, I mean, again, you bring up some good points there on the total. You like to lean over on games where you expect a ton of scoring, and 230 is on the higher end, even by the even by the NBA this season, all the scoring.
That's true.
CJ is getting 22.5 feels very realistic. Again, I think Robert Williams on the rebounds. I'm gonna go slightly less there. It's at 8.5. Yeah, I think he gets just under there. I think it's gonna be close. And for the last one, Marcus Smart, I'm taking over on the assists as well. I think, again, if you're looking at a higher scoring game, higher chance for converting assists. So I think 5.5 for him to go over is pretty reasonable.
Well, yeah. I feel like I should make this my full-time job since we agree on everything.
Exactly.
We have that same mindset.
We got to get you signed up, man.
Let's do it.
So I'm going under on the CJ points. I don't think he's going to jack a bunch of threes, and their pace indicates to me that they're playing a half-court offense. Dame's going to get his buckets, and they're feeding it to the bigs.
No, he did beat Duke. You did see him.
He
beat
did.
Duke.
I did see him beat Duke. He's cold. He's cold. I'm not
crowbar that in.
Lehigh legend, like you said. But yeah, so I'm gonna go under on the Robert Williams boards. He's got a tough matchup down under with Nurkic and Kanter, like Eric said. His minutes per game are also lower than I'd hope if I'm gonna bet on him. And I'm going over on the Smart assists. Trouble is, he only tends to get those assists when he's not hitting his 3-pointers, and he shoots 33% for the year. So I'll trust his jumper is going to be off tonight too. He had 12 dimes against the Spurs last game, so 6 should be light work. So I think we agreed on pretty much everything except for the first 2.
Brad, I don't think we agreed on a single thing besides Robert Williams and the Marcus Smart.
And smart.
We
only had 3
saved it
games,
for the end.
so that's almost.
Yeah. Well, hey, then we know we got to lock in, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. All right, so this is a short show, under 15 minutes. That's going to do it. Free advice from 3 people that can tell the future. You're welcome. Remember to use code TRIPLEPLAY when you sign up for Monkey Knife Fight account. It's going to give you a 100% bonus match up to $50. Sean, thanks again for joining us. Is there anything you want to plug for our listeners?
Yeah, just check out the Sports Gambling Podcast wherever you listen to your podcasts, and yeah, check out my album. This Loss Hurts Us All. It's a stand-up album, but it's a lot about sports stories and being an Eagles fan. This Loss Hurts Us All is something my dad yelled after the Cardinals destroyed the Eagles on primetime, one of the last games in the Chip Kelly era. So if you're a sports fan, you got Spotify, just drop that in and check it out.
Sean, can I ask you one thing?
Sure.
You're an Eagles fan, right?
Yes.
All right. Jalen Hurts had, I think, 37 fantasy points week 15 of last year. Will that be his career high? Will there ever be a game that he has more than that?
Ooh, I'm gonna go. 37 is really high, and I do think he runs slightly less. But this kid, what I like about Hurts is this kid's a gamer, so I do think there's going to be a game where he gets above that 37. But I mean, it's a great question because 37 is super high.
I said that will be the best fantasy game of his life.
Well, and
so you don't think he's good, Eric?
I think he's good. 37 is a lot.
Yeah, you're right. And it'll be interesting to see, like, we're just getting into some of the fantasy content, like previewing and stuff. It'll be interesting to see how the market rates him. Like, maybe they overrate him a little bit. I think he'll be running a little bit less this year with that Nick Sirianni. They're going to do a lot of quick passes, getting Devontae Smith going underneath on some bubble screens and stuff like that. So I don't think he's going to have to run as much as he did early on last year.
I think that's what makes him great, though. I agree he's going to run less, but I still think he's going to run plenty. I think we're going to have, kind of like a Lamar Jackson-like regression where he's still very, very good, but he's not like breaking records.
Fantasy-wise.
Fantasy-wise.
I mean, again, I'm optimistic on his career, so that's why I think he'll have the outlier 37 game. But I think you're on to something as far as, don't expect this every week from him fantasy-wise.
Well, I'll just tell you right now, I haven't heard the name Chip Kelly in many years, so you definitely have at least two new listeners for your stand-up special. Appreciate it, everybody. We'll see you soon.